Good morning, Acadiana. It is 5:29 on a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here on GMA. You know what, guys? Even though we were all kind of just staying at home this weekend, I hope that everyone had a good weekend and got some much-needed rest.
Not bad. I would say, because these are the kind of weekends I like. If I don't have to go anywhere, I'm not going to go anywhere, and I just like to chill and, well.
Can get a lot of chores done.
Sure.
I dug up a garden. That was my big, and I've talked about doing it forever, and I was like, well, might as well cut this sod out. So,
yeah.
You know,
That's
that was
good.
My big project.
And I've noticed like people like pressure washing their homes and like
did that too.
Yeah, like cleaning
Very
out
busy.
closets and things like that. So I mean, stuff's getting done. Spring cleaning.
I caught up on just a ton of TV. I looked outside at my backyard in the garden. It was a little overwhelming. I just went,
no.
Weather-wise, though, it looks like the next several days probably pretty good to get that garden started.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's going to be a little bit warm outside. We're going to get to that time of year where we start talking about drinking water a lot, practicing, good sun health, the sunscreen, the hats, and all of that stuff. And you're going to start to feel that this week. Temperature's going to be running a little bit warmer than normal. We're up to about 83 degrees by the afternoon today. Winds are going to be from the south-southwest at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mixture of sunshine and clouds out there. I think a little more sun than cloud cover. We'll talk about that. We'll take a look at Futurecast and a sneak peek at what you can expect through the remainder of the day today. That's all coming up here in just a little bit.
Thanks, Daniel. Now, before we start with our coronavirus coverage, we have two breaking stories from overnight. First, in Jeanerette, firefighters are investigating an overnight fire on Domingue Street. The Jeanerette Police Department says the call came in around 2:30 this morning after a shed had caught fire. Here's viewer-submitted video from the scene. A witness tells us she heard propane tanks inside the shed exploding. No word if anyone was injured or if any nearby homes were damaged. Well, overseas, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Afghanistan on an urgent visit to try to move forward on the peace deal signed last month with the Taliban. Pompeo arrived in Kabul just a few hours ago. Since the U.S. and the Taliban signed the deal, movement has stalled, and two political rivals have declared themselves Afghanistan's president.
Time is now. If possible, as Sanjay Gupta and others have recommended, behave as if you know you have the coronavirus. Self-isolate, keep those distances, don't engage in unnecessary contact with others.
Governor John Bel Edwards delivering that message while issuing a statewide stay-at-home order. That order takes effect at 5 o'clock this afternoon and will continue through Easter Sunday. That's April 12th. The stay-at-home order shuts down non-essential businesses like public amusement venues, personal care and groom businesses, and mall stores that do not have an outside entrance. Even then, those stores must provide an essential service to remain open. Now, what exactly is an essential service? Well, according to federal guidelines, essential services include grocery stores, pharmacies, and restaurants with drive-through, carry-out, and delivery services. Now, the essential service guidelines also include healthcare and social service workers, farm work, and the oil and gas industry. We have a link to the full order as well as a graphic listing who all is covered by the essential service and worker exemption at KATC.com. Happening today, COVID-19 screenings continue at the Cajun Dome. Today's screenings will take place from 8:30 to 10:30 this morning. Now, that screening site hours will be adjusted on a day-to-day basis, and LCG reminds you to call 311 for pre-screening.
The latest statewide COVID-19 figures will be released at noon today. Right now, Louisiana has 837 reported cases across 36 parishes with 20 deaths. Sunday's report was the first in 8 days to not feature a new death. Here in Acadiana, St. Martin, Vermilion, Jeff Davis, and Cameron parishes are the only 4 who don't have a COVID-19 case yet. Lafayette has 6 cases, Calcasieu 4 cases, St. Landry has 3, Iberia and Evangeline each have 2, Acadia and St. Mary parishes each have 1 case. Well, happening tonight, Governor Edwards will lead a statewide broadcast about Louisiana's response to the COVID-19 outbreak. Among the topics on the agenda, the state's health care and testing capacity, the outbreak's effect on education, and resources available for workers and businesses affected by the stay-at-home order. You can watch it tonight from 7 to 8 on KATC's CW.
And starting tonight, KATC will air a special 30-minute daily newscast called Coronavirus The Rundown. It's produced by our parent company Scripps and airs just after midnight at 12:05. We'll be looking at what is fact and what is fiction, and also showing you stories that show people across the country being resilient and innovative.
From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, here's Daniel's True View forecast.
Temperatures at about 72 in Lafayette right now. New Iberia is at 72 degrees. You've got mostly clear skies out there. Now, there are going to be some clouds out. We've got plenty of moisture in the atmosphere. It's going to be muggy here the next couple of days. We are starting to shift now into what looks a little more summery than it does early in mid-spring. Temperatures are going to be responding accordingly. We're going to be sitting in the 80s and all is said and done. And warm out there right now as well. 72 in Lafayette. New Iberia is at about 72 degrees. Alexandria, Abbeville, Opelousas all coming in the upper 60s along with Jennings, Morgan City as well. There'll be a handful of clouds out there today. Winds coming in from the west-southwest throughout the course of the day. I think we see probably a little more sunshine than what Futurecast will pick up on. What's happening, and this happens several times a year when the seasons change over, Futurecast kind of lags behind a little bit, and a lot of models will do this as well. And as we get a little more moisture in the atmosphere and that starts to become a little more normal, it takes a while for these models to pick up on a change of season, and what it will do is it will make it just a little bit cloudier outside, and I think that's what's happening today. I'd be on the lookout for a little more sunshine. Now there'll still be some clouds, and you may get an isolated shower, about a 10% chance for that. For the most part, we're going to be quiet running up here today. We'll see the fog building up overnight tonight. I think maybe a little foggy conditions for early tomorrow morning. That should burn off quite quickly, and then a repeat forecast. Not a whole lot of changes in your day-to-day forecast here this week. Temperatures for the most part going to be sitting in the 80s. Winds going to be coming in from the south. It'll stay warm. It'll stay muggy. And this is kind of how the days are going to be breaking down. A little bit warmer out there this morning than I think it will be later this week. We're running the mid-70s here through the morning. We'll be close to 80 degrees by lunchtime. And then in the late afternoon, we'll sit right around 83. The winds are going to pick up as well. 5-10 miles an hour through the first half of the day. I think as we do get into the late afternoon, evening, you may see it pick up 11-12 mile an hour. 83 degrees for your high, a 10% chance for a quick passing shower. Temperatures in the 80s for both Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll see temperatures in the upper 80s. It does get quite warm. I think we'll fall shy of 90, but we are going to be getting close. We'll have a look at that extended forecast coming up here in just a bit. Katie.
Thanks, Daniel. Right now, nearly 340,000 COVID-19 cases have been confirmed, with almost 15,000 people dying from the virus. The total worldwide recovery number is approaching 100,000. That's according to the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Research Center. Now, here in the United States, the number of cases is above 35,000, with 471 deaths reported nationwide.
Meanwhile, the White House is making assurances that help is on the way as the country deals with the coronavirus pandemic. 2 states hard hit by the virus have already been declared disaster areas, and California may be next. ABC's Ines de la Cuetara has the latest from Washington.
Overnight, President Trump announcing the National Guard will be deployed to the 3 states hit the hardest by the coronavirus outbreak: New York, California, and Washington state.
The federal government has deployed hundreds of tons of supplies from our national stockpile to locations with the greatest need.
The president also revealing makeshift hospitals will be built in those states to accommodate the growing number of cases. 4 in the New York area, providing another 1,000 beds, plus 8 in California and 4 in Washington state. And the administration promising it'll send hospitals respirators and personal protective gear such as masks and gowns.
So far delivered to New York, and this is the 19th, we had the N95 respirators, 186,416 delivered.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, the first senator testing positive for COVID-19, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator Mitt Romney now having to go into quarantine after recently coming into contact with Paul. This as negotiations over a $2 trillion stimulus bill to help the economy recover from the outbreak are hitting a roadblock. Democrats say the two sides are still far apart, taking issue with key elements of the bill, including a $500 billion relief fund for corporations without any protections for workers.
And what it has is, for instance, a giant corporate bailout fund with no accountability.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell insists the bill is moving forward.
So we're fiddling here, fiddling with the emotions of the American people, fiddling with the markets.
Ines de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
In Asia, stock markets continued their plunge this morning amid the coronavirus outbreak. Shares dropped nearly 3% in Shanghai, more than 4% in Hong Kong, and 5% in South Korea. Tokyo's stock market, though, did hold steady. American stock futures are plunging this morning, with the Dow futures falling 777 points overnight.
The American benchmark oil price is holding steady this morning. The price of West Texas Intermediate crude is up, but only by 35 cents to $22.28 a barrel. The international benchmark Brent crude is down $1.49 to $25.49 a barrel. And the latest Bloomberg survey says that the average gas price in the United States is holding steady, staying at $2.53 a gallon for the past 2 weeks. And here in Acadiana, GasBuddy.com is reporting prices as low as $1.37 in Delcom. Well, the time now is 5:39. Still to come on GMA. Handshakes are common in Western society, but what are you supposed to do now that the coronavirus is spreading? That answer at 5:45.
And of course, Daniel will have another look at our forecast. But first, here's this morning's Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'm Emily.
And we're in Estonwood. Good morning, Acadiana.
Here's your weather on the 3s.
Temperatures at 72 degrees in Lafayette right now. A little muggy outside this morning. Few clouds out there. Now, we're going to go mostly sunny on the day today. That's not to say there's going to be no cloud cover at all, but we are going to get the sun to break through at times. It's going to be warm. It's on the muggier side, too. Dew points at about 69 degrees. You've got winds right now out of the south at about 9 miles an hour. Lake Charles and Welsh are both sitting at 70. Same with Breaux Bridge, upper 60s for Church Point, Jennings, Crowley. Their triangle there, they're sitting at about 68 to 69 degrees. Again, Lafayette coming in right around 72. For mid to late March, we are running pretty warm. We're going to see temperatures eventually hit in the 80s today. We may be at 80 degrees by lunchtime already. 78 in Crowley, Church Point, 80 degrees in Lafayette and St. Martinville. You'll have 77 from Jennings westbound with Breaux Bridge at about 79 degrees. We'll work our way up to about 83, I think, is where we're going to top off for the day today, and then 80 in Lafayette, St. Martinville, Breaux Bridge, Church Point at about 80 degrees, and the upper 70s from Crowley through Jennings and on into Welsh and Lake Charles. If you break it down hour by hour, here's how it's looking today. Winds are going to be out of the west-southwest, about 8 to 12 miles an hour. Breeze picks up a little bit later on in the afternoon, so it will be fairly calm out through the morning. Winds start to pick up after lunchtime today. Again, warm, mostly sunny skies. We'll have a look at that extended forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Katie.
Thanks, Daniel. Well, when it comes to business dealings, a handshake has long been a sign of respect and goodwill, but most workplaces are now urging employees to stop doing it. Consumer reporter John Matteries looks into why change is not so easy, so you stay safe and you don't waste your money.
For generations, Americans greeted each other